So, mate, we're sitting out here on the field of the stadium of the team you now belong. It's a pretty surreal experience ahead of game number 3 this Sunday versus North Melbourne. Let's wind it back a little bit. Young Bailey Humphrey, Moe, Gippsland.
Yeah, it's been a journey. Definitely has. Especially last year, my 18th year at Power, I was going into the year, wasn't really noticed as a prospect of getting drafted. I wasn't even in the top 75 to watch. And then, yeah, played a good first 6 rounds, and then unfortunately did my knee. And then, to be honest, I thought my childhood dream was over, because not being in the top 75 to watch and then doing a knee, it's just like, well, like it's going to be a massive struggle to get there from here. And then ended up doing all my recovery right and trying to get back as quick as I could, so that I did play footy leading into the end of the year, and then played 4 games for 4 finals. And yeah, lucky enough for me, it all clicked and played my best game of footy, my first game back, and ended up with
Just got rid of the doubters about your knee injury.
Yeah, exactly, and got a fair few disposals and a couple of goals on the board. And
how did you navigate through that time though, when you did your knee and you're like, shit, all these opportunities could potentially pass me, knowing that you knew what you were capable of, your family and your friends knew what you were capable of, but you're looking down the barrel of being injured and no one's looking at you now. How do you deal with something like that?
Yeah, to be honest, my first 2 weeks of when I found out that when I actually got my scans back and everything, and I was shattered. I was like, got told before I got my scans back that it was my ACL, and I was like, yeah, well, that's no good. Even if I do get picked up, I'm not going to be playing till middle of next year anyway. But turns out it was just my meniscus and put me back 10 weeks. So I struggled for the first 2 weeks. I was in a pretty dark place first 2 weeks, but I just tried to stay present and stay around Gippsland Power and stay around the club, and even my family helped me a heap. Just making sure that I'm always present in the moment and looking forward to what I actually have, and that was still being at the footy and still being able to do stuff and helping the other kids that were in their draft year well at Power. And I did a little bit of coaching in the midfield and stuff like that. So
kept you purposeful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, right. And I know, at Luana, where we work, one of the partners of Mindfull Aus, and great school and great setup down there. What sort of role did they sort of play on your journey, not only through that period of time, but no one likes school. Yeah. Bailey Humphrey likes school.
I definitely wasn't the greatest kid at school. Alan Chandler was probably my biggest mentor at school. He made it very easy for me to go to school and very easy for me to get through school. Yeah. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have got through school. I was looking at pulling out of school and doing a trade and stuff like that. But no, I'm extremely grateful for Al. He kept me at school and kept me doing footy at school as well. We did a lot of one-on-one sessions with him, and then in year 12, Jacob Constantini came to school, and that also got me through, having an actual mate that enjoyed footy as well and took it as serious as me. So doing one-on-one sessions with him and Al Chandler, and then even the Gippsland Power coach, Rhett McLennan, came in and he did sessions with us like 2-3 times a week. So it was definitely easy getting through school when you've got people around you like that.
Yeah, again, you draw it back to that being purposeful and having some sort of meaning in your life, and football's been that for you. Hasn't exempt you from struggles though. You've had struggles along your journey that you've been open about. Yeah,
100%. Footy has never. It was always my escape from
reality.
My reality and what I was actually going through. And when I was a little bit younger, I didn't really know what I was going through. But then there was also a time where footy wasn't that for me, and I lost enjoyment of footy, and I thought I didn't really think I was that good of a footballer. I had real bad self-doubt and everything, and I just needed to. I actually took a year off Gippsland Power that year, and this was in under-16s, and I had to just get back to enjoying footy because I knew footy helped me with all the stuff that I was going through outside of footy. Lucky enough, Gippsland didn't play any games because of COVID, but
so you didn't feel like you were missing out on anything?
Yeah, and Moe ended up playing a couple of games, and I just got back to playing games with my mates. And after those 3 games in the COVID year at Moe,
taking the piss.
Yeah, taking the piss, and I found the enjoyment of footy again, and I think it comes down to that's all you got to do, and that's when you play your best footy.
When you're happy.
Yeah, when you're happy, yeah.
Yeah. We're fast forward and jumping a bit of the journey here, but the same, you're up here at Gold Coast Suns now, removed from family and friends as such, physically distanced. But what are some of those things that even now you know, the rigours of football. There's more responsibility now. The pressures of keeping your spot or getting your game initially, all no doubt has a bearing on your own mental health. What are some things that you incorporate into what you do now to stay afloat, especially that you're so far removed from Victoria and Gippsland and all of those supports?
Yeah, obviously struggled early days. My first 2 weeks were good because I knew that I was going home for Christmas. So it was 2 weeks of pretty much just a holiday and doing what I love, and that's footy. So first 2 weeks were fine, and then came back after Christmas and I was starting to struggle a little bit more. Then knee injury again, just set me back a couple weeks. And then I was like struggling real bad, but I just tried to stay real connected with my family and friends from home, because if I knew that I didn't do that, and I didn't want to struggle alone, because I've done that before and it wasn't the brightest days for me. But yeah, just staying real connected with my mum and dad, and I tell them everything now, like especially not being with them in the same house and stuff. Going through it alone it's not going to do anything good for me. I just got to stay connected with them.
You're what, 18, 19 years of age, and you authentically talk about your struggles, which not a lot of 18 and 19-year-olds do, especially with giving you a platform. It'd be very easy for you to suppress it and pretend it doesn't exist because you're an AFL player. But you just talked about it then. It's not revolutionary, but talking about our thoughts, feelings and emotions really does bloody help.
It does.
And having people around here at the Suns, no doubt, and mentors that you're going to pick up along the journey. Have you gained some here that you have that comfort in, same level of comfort that you do with the people back home, or?
Yeah, obviously it's still early days for me, and but I think Reece Shaw, our development coach for the younger boys, he's been a real good mentor for me with footy and off field as well. I kind of go to him when I need someone to talk to, but obviously there's the psych here and the club doc. They've all helped me as well. I've had my struggles at training and away from training as well, so I just got to use my resources as well as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. What does those resources look like outside of footy? Like, how do you get away from the world? How do you get away from football?
Yeah, that's still something that I'm trying to figure out.
Find the balance.
Yeah, find the balance. Playing a little bit of Fortnite with mates from home, and like it's working heaps, but I can't play PlayStation for the rest of my life or for every day straight.
But you got the headsets on, you're able to connect with them.
Yeah, sometimes we don't even play Fortnite, play the game. We just sit in the lobby and just chat shit for ages. So, no, I'm extremely grateful for the mates that I have at home. Yeah,
I mean, we went and watched your debut the other week. It was, I'm pretty sure Marvel was full of Gippsland people. We had Moe there for you, and we had Morwell there for Benny Ainsworth's 100th. It was pretty electric to hear everyone going off, watching you two run around, and pretty exciting for everyone. Can you tell us what that felt like for you? I mean, the whole process of it. Let's wind it back to getting the call.
Yeah, it's still pretty speechless, to be honest. Played first 2 rounds of VFL, and then I thought I played pretty well in those first 2 games, and I was like, my chance is probably, I'm hoping that it's coming soon, and didn't get announced in the meeting, and I was like, a bit flat, and I was like, I don't think I'm playing. And then, I got out to training, and it was obviously Benny Ainsworth's 100th game, and he's from Gippsland as well. So Stewie was like, one Gippsland boy's playing his 100th game, and one other Gippsland boy's playing his first. And when he said that, all the boys jumped on me, but underneath I was speechless. I didn't know what to say or what to do.
Is that one of the happiest moments you've ever had?
100%. And I was happy at the time, but I didn't know what to feel. I didn't know what to do. So when I got home, I couldn't sleep. I struggled. I had the worst 2 nights of sleep for the next 2 nights because I was so excited.
Trying to work out how the game's going to unfold the whole time.
Exactly.
What's the difference in the feelings between that moment you get drafted, which you knew you were gonna, and you were pretty certain you were coming here? Was it up there with the same as getting your debut, announcing the debut?
Yeah, it was. Like, obviously, when you get drafted, that's your dream, is to get drafted. But the next hard part is to play your first game, and I've dreamt of playing on Marvel or on MCG since I was 3 years old, running around the front yard kicking footies with my brothers and
pretending you're someone else.
Calling myself Gary Ablett or Joel Selwood or something like that. So, to really play my first game was something really special.
That's awesome, mate.